All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Hakwadash. The belongs to apostles of GMS, and sincere Shalom to the brothers out here pushing his truth and sincerity. And I figure I go into a quick clip real quick, about 5 minutes. I'm only going to play part of it and to get to the main point. But it says Putin, Russia's new missile is invincible. Now, as the comment board tends to overcomplicate things because of a figure of speech, which technically would be invincible because any missile that's directed at this place is going to be invincible in the hands of the Lord. But a lot of these kingdoms, especially Russia, is rising up with these nuclear warheads to take down this place. Just any place, really. It's so long as it's in their way, they're going to try to take it down. Just like the devils they are. Just like all the devils of these rats they are. That's here. But this is a nuclear war now. This is the war of missiles. This is the time where every kingdom going to try to rise up to be the next best thing, and it's ultimately going to be the Lord. But I'm gonna play this small clip real quick for a little bit.
U.S. defense officials say this is the real deal.
So I can give it a second. There we go.
Russia test firing its new high-speed hypersonic missile, a missile that the U.S. military currently cannot defend against. Russian President Vladimir Putin pulling no punches on his intent.
The new Avangard missile system is invincible against today's and future air and missile defense systems of the potential enemy. This is a big success and a great achievement.
If the weapons work as advertised, there is no current defense against them.
The Russian missile has captured the attention of Patrick Shanahan, the Deputy Defense Secretary, who will take over as acting Pentagon Chief when Secretary James Mattis leaves next week. Shanahan warns the U.S. needs to be able to detect the fast-flying missile much further away than current radar systems can handle. The U.S. has to detect it thousands, not hundreds of miles away because of its high-speed approach. The Pentagon may spend more than $1 billion trying to develop and field its own capabilities.
We have a number of options going on with hypersonic missiles.
The Russians are making significant yet unproven claims about their missile, saying it's capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. It flies up to 20 times faster than the speed of sound. It can adjust altitude and direction to avoid detection. Putin says it's invincible.
We're going to need a different set of sensors in order to see the hypersonic threats. Our adversaries know that.
The challenges are also political for President Trump, whose relationship with Russian President Putin has been rocky since July's Helsinki summit.
Putin feels incredibly emboldened. Putin believes this is the time to press his advantage. He's put his forces in Ukraine, in eastern Ukraine. He's, of course, taken over Crimea. He's now gaining ground in Syria. This is Russia's time, in his view.
Now, because the Russians are putting so much effort into this new missile, the U.S. is responding by funding its own effort. The Pentagon says it has no choice but to proceed.
Yeah, let's take a look at it, Ryan. It's called the Avangard Missile System, and it's called a system because what we're really talking about here is a hypersonic glider that you put on top of an ICBM to launch it into space and then get it closer to your target. It flies about 20 times the speed of sound. Some estimates have it up at Mach 27, incredibly fast, can carry a nuclear warhead. And the real scary thing about this is that as it closes in on its target, it can independently zig and zag to avoid missile defenses. The Pentagon, for their part, they are still working on hypersonic systems of our own, but it doesn't look like we're going to have a hypersonic system in development, or at least in the field, for at least 2 to 4 years from now.
So you can see why it will take 1 hour to destroy this place. As technology keeps advancing, and this is ultimately through the Lord, He just keeps upgrading. He's like, keep making more, keep creating more, name them as you like. the Lord is spiritually putting his power all over these countries to create more missiles better than what they originally were. To hit not only not only harder but faster. And as they showed in the clip, the rocket goes up and then comes down. It just don't go straight forward. Going straight forward just take longer. It goes up into the atmosphere and comes directly down for a quicker and even harder hitting detonation. So I'm gonna skip to the main part I want to get to.
Outside of it. Now, the Russians will tell you this is about being able to work on satellites. That this little
Here we go.
September, back in the fall, they did war games with China. Now, these war games in the East have typically been done to deter China. They've been about sort of making sure China knew not to mess with Russia. This year, they worked with China to send a message to the West and to the United States in particular. Back in October, of course, they've now, using satellite imagery, we've been able to tell they've been upgrading military installations in Kaliningrad on the Baltic Sea, right on the doorstep of NATO. And then in November, they tested a satellite system called the Nesting Doll. Now, what's really interesting about this is not so much the actual satellite itself, but the little satellite that comes out that it puts into space outside of it. Now, the Russians will tell you this is about being able to work on satellites. That this little guy is meant to go fix and repair other satellites that they have in orbit. But the Pentagon is worried that what it could be is actually a targeting mechanism to go after Western satellites, either with lasers or maybe even to crash into them. So the Russians have been very busy this year. This is going to...
So, and then there's the funny part about it. There was a game called Gears of War, and they had something called the Hammer or Dawn, which was indeed a tracking system, but it also had lasers to take down or to use at a specific targeting location, and it would cause mass destruction. This wouldn't be no different. Whatever Esau usually puts in his movies or games or TV shows, there's always been technically eventually ends up becoming a real thing, just like Terminator. Or let's even go back to what the elder or my father in the campus told me. There was a movie about. Now I'll never forget it. He told me it was a movie about GPS, and then sure enough, GPS actually came out. So, and then when it definitely dawned on me when they made Terminator. Well, then they started talking about how they was actually making the actual Terminators, but they gave it a different name. So it wouldn't be no different. But it's the fact that the truth still stands that whatever Esau puts out there, he brings to light in reality. This is Isaiah 13:4. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts muster the hosts of battle. You see, the Lord's going to start rocking a lot of things. A whole lot of people's going to be in an uproar. Everybody's going to be upset, and especially when people start hearing them sirens, alarms, especially when they start hearing missiles from thousands of miles away when this place is about to be destroyed. You can only imagine the heart attacks people are going to have. And how I can't say we won't probably have a few scary feelings about it. Well, at least not before the missiles hit. But to pray that we're of the hopeful elect before these missiles actually do go off. This is verse 5. It says, they come from a far country, from the end of the heaven, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. So the Lord, these missiles are being built for a reason. They're not going to just sit in silos. Esau has showed time and time again how they have used their missiles. Their missiles have been etched into their history of, yeah, we used them. We're going to make more, just in case some shit like this arises again. They're sure as hell not going to be sitting in a silo collecting dust for nothing. So these missiles are going to be used. It says, "Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty." So again, the Lord is going to ultimately destroy this place, along with all the other kingdoms that's harboring Israelites. These kingdoms don't have any real power. Just because they got missiles don't mean they have any real power. It's power. Don't get me wrong. They have military. They have power. Don't get me wrong. But it's not real power like the Lord has. People don't understand that the Lord is ultimately going to destroy the rest of these kingdoms too. So no matter where you go to hide, whether you be like, "Oh, I know this place is going to get destroyed, so I'm gonna go over here," doesn't make a difference. If you're not the elect, you're gonna get destroyed regardless. Wherever you're gonna go is gonna get destroyed because it's built out of wickedness. Because it has Esau's clutches on it. This is Job 5:19. It says, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, even in 7, there shall no evil touch thee." Talking about his hopeful elect. And it says, "In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword," which is those missiles. The Lord's gonna save his hopeful elect. Meanwhile, destroying the 2/3, destroying these heathens, destroying these Edomites, these weapons of war, these missiles, everything that's going on isn't just for show or display. How a lot of people are already upset about what's going on, especially now that with this war going on, gas prices went up. Imagine everything else that goes up behind it. It says, "Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh." So the Lord the Lord's going to put it in us, well, at least the hopeful elect, to not be afraid when all this happens. When them missiles start hitting, or when them missiles going up and it's about to take 1 hour to destroy this place, he's already going to have it in that spirit. Because he's going to save his elect out of that. And we get to watch, well, the hopeful elect gets to watch that oncoming destruction of onslaught that's going to happen on this place and every other place, really. But that's all we have going today. So, Lord willing, this is edifying, and with that, shalom.